Welcome back to the Bourbon Note, everybody. I'm Ben. Got a 10-year bourbon banger on the bar. Let's get into it. So on the bar tonight, I've got, bam, this is Henry McKenna, 10-year single barrel bottled in bond. So this bottle kind of has an interesting history. You guys probably all know about it. Used to be around $35. And then it won Best in Show Whiskey at one of the San Francisco World Spirits Awards. Everybody freaked out about it. It became allocated, the price went up, and here we are. That being said, I have ranted about this bourbon until I'm blue in the face. I just don't understand where people are coming from on this one. And this is not to say that your opinion is wrong or anything like that, or that I'm right. I'm just saying I don't understand it. I understand that it's frustrating when a bourbon used to be 35 bucks and then now it's, 60 to 70. That being said, it's the comments people make about it. Like anytime somebody posts, hey, is this any good? Or hey, this, that, everybody's just like, yeah, maybe for 40 or under, but I'm not paying any more than that. And people seem to be really pissed about the price. And I think this bottle is just a victim of that. It used to be this, now it's this. Because at the end of the day, a 10-year age-stated bottled in bond single barrel for $60 is not a ridiculous price, especially in today's market. Now, I know a lot of times these go for closer to 70. I don't buy it at 70, but at the 65 and below, I think it's fair. Now, you may not like this bourbon, and that's totally fine, but it's the people who kind of rant and rave that it's just not worth X, Y, and Z, and maybe they're just saying, flavor-wise for them it's not worth it. But I feel like people just really like to kind of hammer on this bottle because of what it used to be. But, again, any other distillery, if Wild Turkey released a 10-year age-stated bottled in bond single barrel, people would have no problem paying 70 bucks for it. That's my opinion anyway. So the other thing is, from what I've heard, this being a single barrel, this brand in particular, people have said that the barrels can vary quite a bit from one to another. I have not had a bad one, and I've had a handful of these on the shelf, but that's just my experience. Yours might be different. So let's get into the whiskey here. It's a little Heaven Hilly, it's got kind of that nutty vibe to it, but it has a nice oak note at 10 years. You would expect that. Nice, very well balanced. That kind of peanut and oak combination kind of goes together nicely. I'm into it. And then beyond that, it's just kind of got a standard bourbon profile, but just a very, very well balanced and on the nose, nice quality. Let's get into the palate, see what happens. Cheers. So, that's really good. I like it. I am a fan of this brand. But I think I might be experiencing the variance in the barrel maybe for the first time, because this one doesn't come across as it's not as sweet as some of the other ones. Some of the other ones that I've had that I really liked is just the nice balance of the oak, the nuttiness, but they had that nice brown sugar note to them in particular. This one doesn't have that quite as much. But it has all your standard bourbon notes. But beyond that, it doesn't have, it's not particularly unique, but it is a really, really good, nice quality bourbon, and I'm into it. Let's have another sip. All right, so that second sip is where it's at. That second sip had that nice nutty and oak presence up front, and then on the mid palate in the finish, just this big wave of heat and proof, but in a good way. Just that nice kind of bite, and it was all wrapped in this nice brown sugar and caramel sweetness. I know I'm just throwing out generic tasting notes here that are just kind of standard, but really that's kind of what I'm getting. But it's well balanced, and it just, to me, this just comes across as a really, really good quality bourbon. Like you can definitely tell the age on it. It's got a decent mouthfeel to it. But it doesn't have one note that's like overpowering another one. Sometimes you get like those bourbons and it's like the bourbon just can't figure out what it wants to do. And instead of kind of working together in a nice balanced and kind of wrapped up sort of general flavor profile, it's like the flavors are kind of fighting each other and it just doesn't, I don't know, sometimes they play out weird like that. And this one just doesn't do that. This is just a really, really nicely balanced bourbon. Let's go in for another sip before we get out of here. A little bit of cinnamon and chocolate showing up on that last sip. This one overall, I would say, like, I'm not getting a ton of like vanillas out of this, or sometimes like the vanilla or the, you know, kind of custard sort of vibes, marshmallow. It's much more like darker flavors. It's the brown sugar and the caramels and the oaks and a little bit of that chocolate, cinnamon. But yeah, really, really good bourbon. I bought this bottle just because I like to have one of these on the shelf, and I haven't had one for a couple of months, so I picked one up at Costco actually for like $51.99. At that price, it's definitely a buy. When you get above 60, I guess, you know, make the decision if you want to, you know, do that. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments about the value on this. You know, if you don't like a bourbon, then it's not worth any price, right? I really just wonder, again, like I said at the beginning of the video, I think this one is just kind of a victim of that. It used to be this and now it's that. And so taking all the hype and everything out of consideration, let me know in the comments, do you think a 10-year age stated bottled in bond single barrel product is fair at $65, regardless of who's making it? I think 100% it is, for sure. But you know, who knows? Maybe people will pile on me for this. So, because I know this one just tends to be very divisive, and I just honestly don't understand why. I haven't had a bad one. I haven't had one that was, you know, wildly off profile, and maybe I'm just lucky in that regard, but let me know your experience in the comments. This has been Henry McKenna, 10 years single barrel bottled in bond on the Bourbon Note. I'm Ben. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you on the next one.